Welcome back to Julie's Unleashed, Unfiltered, and Unapologetically Human. Today's guest I have is Miss Future Dr. Hannah. Now, what are you wanting to be called? Hannah or Dr. Roches? Which one are you wanting?
Oh, just call me Hannah.
She's like, ew. She'll be there eventually.
I'll get used to it eventually, but not yet.
Not yet. Alrighty, so we have a few questions for you just to kind of go over stuff, involving school as well as just what is your kind of motivation in continuing school. So, the first question I got was what inspired you to pursue a career in veterinary medicine?
So I have a very uh typical story about this, but I feel like my journey to figuring out it was for me is what really got me. So I did always want to be a veterinarian. I have it written down on this poster from second grade where it was like, where what career do you want? And it says veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't think, obviously then I did not understand what the scope of being a veterinarian actually meant. So, I got involved in a program with you, obviously,
Yeah.
where we got to do vocational training to be a veterinary assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And I just learned that it combined a few of my favorite things. It combined animals, it combined science, and honestly, it has a bit of creativity in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just knew it's something that I wanted to continue.
Aww. That's so
Mm.
cute. Little baby Hannah. How do you stay motivated during particularly challenging times in your study? Because I know literally every time I'm talking to her, she's studying something. Something's always something's always going on.
Yeah, it's actually really hard, but it's not impossible, obviously, and some people do it better than others. But I just really like to think about why I'm there
Mm-hmm.
and what keeps me going is being involved in stuff so that I keep experiencing and having good experiences in this field so that it doesn't always just feel like studying because I've done a lot of cool things and I think that the clubs that I've been involved in are a huge part of that.
Mm-hmm. And how do you manage the academic workload as well as just being in vet school? Because I know it's a lot of pressure as well as completing it and becoming an actual doctor, and I know there's many people that end up dropping out within either the first year or the second year, and you're now and gonna be going into third year, so you're almost there.
Yeah, so and the first time that it happens too where people start leaving you're like, oh shit, this is real. um But at first, it was really hard for me to get a hang of. I think I was already burnt out entering veterinary school from my graduate program,
Mm-hmm.
and starting school obviously didn't help that. So sometimes it is necessary to take a gap year. I don't always think that's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I had to really think about why I was still showing up every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it simply just came down to the fact that it's something I really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was kind of really excited to be there, but I hadn't taken in actually being there. And so the more that I got involved in doing stuff, I just felt like eventually the workload and pressure kind of weigh off because you're around a lot of people who are experiencing the same thing. So you
Mm-hmm.
just get to rely on each other.
Okay. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your coursework?
Yeah, no, for sure. I just think the schooling is just really fast paced. So I don't think it's always the hardest content per se to understand,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the amount that you're getting at once. And you just kind of get through it. You Keep going. Lydia, my dog, I'm sorry.
It's
Um,
okay. As you can tell,
uh,
we're always by animals.
yeah, and she's crazy, so she likes to chase her tail. But yeah, it can be very overwhelming.
So what is I mean, so far you're in third year. Oh, gonna be in third year. What is like a topic that really like you really struggled in during vet school so far?
Personally, I really hated anatomy, and it's really fundamental to what you need to know. But my brain works a little bit differently. I didn't really learn anatomy through classic anatomy class
Mhm.
because that's all they focus on. But once we started to go through disease processes and pathology, then it started to really click why knowing certain locations were important. Because like
Mhm.
if you tell me something where it is, I'm like, okay, cool.
Mhm.
Why do I need to know that? But then like once I got through the pathology part, I was like, oh, this is important because this
Mhm.
disease takes advantage of the fact that blah blah blah. And
Mhm.
so
So
I just think that class sucked, and and it's not for me.
so basically it's just like how you understand things is kind of like as much as it sucked, it's understanding that, this involves this and it's because of this. So it's basically just breaking down everything. You kind of, the order was a little iffy. I know we've talked about that a little bit of how things are taught in vet school.
Yeah, and like that always depends on how people learn too,
Mhm.
you know. But for me, it didn't work the way that it was being taught to us because I really didn't really understand what was important to know, and
Mhm.
it just was like know everything,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I just didn't. It wasn't entertaining enough for me to like really lock it and know it
Yeah.
at that time.
I know with learning so much as well as all the activities you're doing and trying to make things fun and not like traumatizing, because I know you can see a lot of bad stuff during vet school. But what signs of burnout have you experienced or observed in yourself or classmates?
For myself, I end up stop going to class
Mhm.
towards the end of the quarter usually. I get to a point where I'm like, okay, well, I need to just be somewhere where I can focus and
Mhm.
focus on the things that I need to get done.
Mhm.
Um and get through the rest of this quarter this way. That's just how I deal with it.
Yeah.
Um a lot of other people I do notice like towards the end of the quarter like no one's showing up to classes. So
Yeah.
I think everyone decides that they want to um
Kind of like taking that break a little bit.
yeah, not necessarily be there every single day,
Mhm.
which I mean, some people have opinions about, but oh well.
Yeah, and with, you know, managing the stress, not going to class, have you done anything to kind of like the prevent the burnout with I know you said not going to class, but is there anything else that you help to try to stay focused and not just completely just I'm done?
Yeah, I think it's really smart at the beginning of your quarter. Like if you have the ability to see what classes you have and you look at all of your syllabi, schedule out what's due, when you need to study for exams, what lectures are going to be on those exams,
Mhm.
so that before the quarter even starts, you have everything planned out
Mhm.
and plan in days where you just are doing nothing but you. Like,
Mhm.
focus on doing your laundry, focus on doing, like, cleaning your place and, like,
Mhm.
setting those things in place. I'm not always good at it. I have issues with sticking to it, but,
Yeah.
like, I do think when I do that, that's like the best time
Mhm.
is that I have is just putting in self care.
Okay. And I guess that's kind of like one of the specific activities that you kind of just recharge and be like realign yourself of what your goals are.
Yeah, it's not always about school.
I think just with our society, it's like we're pressured always of like when you're in high school of like what school are you going to, what college. And I feel like that also kind of has a higher risk of potential burnout because our main focus is school, school, school. And how do you differentiate from when it's a potential burnout or if it's just normal stress of life? Because life likes to like kick us down with any direction.
When I'm stressed, I tend to uh like the I guess it's more of, is the stress prolonged?
Mhm.
Because if the stress goes um unlimited, or it just continues to go on without stopping it, then it's eventually going to lead to burnout.
Mhm.
Um, but if you can realize you're in stress and take the time and be just present in your life,
Mhm.
choose the things that you're grateful for. Also reflect on, like, are you taking care of yourself? What are you doing
Mhm.
um, to make sure that you're not going to continue this stress? And sometimes it's like there's just an exam coming up and you haven't studied for it. Like
Mhm.
sometimes you just got to get through it. Um, but ultimately, it's just knowing who you are
Mhm.
and putting in times where you're reflecting.
Mhm. For grad school, a lot of it like are you kind of learning yourself throughout, the first 2 years that you've been there of kind of like learning how you learn and you're basically learning yourself as well as like your coping and how you defend yourself with burnout and stuff like that. So I feel like during that time, it's a lot of like reflecting, what sounds
Yeah.
like.
Well, and like you're not just doing school, you're also like being an adult for the first time.
Mhm.
So you're navigating quite a few things at once. And sometimes people have more support than others.
Mhm.
And you just gotta, like, at the end of the day, you have to think about the type of person you want to be
Mhm.
and take the steps to be that person. You're the one that's in control. So if something's not going the way you want it to go, then you like need to set aside that time so that you can evaluate these things. I just
Mhm.
don't think there's any good way of getting through life without reflecting and making sure that you're reflecting regularly.
Mhm. And do you have what do you think about how important it is for having that peer support, having those relationships with other students? Do you think it's really important in trying to keep you focused in what your goal is?
Yeah, when you're around motivated people, you are also motivated. That's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
When you put yourself around people who want to be there, who show up every single day because this is also their passion,
Mm-hmm.
then it's just going to rub off on you. And you can do the same for them too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you find yourself in that environment, you often will be contributing to that environment as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just when people seclude themselves from everybody, they tend to struggle a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a part of that is that they don't find anyone that they're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I do think it's our responsibility as vet students to make sure that our classmates are succeeding as well,
Mm-hmm.
because we want the people there to, be good veterinarians. We should want them to be good veterinarians.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, find the people that are going to help you do that, and find the people who are gonna, like, set aside time. I have great friends who will help me study in certain areas. I was not good in equine med and surgery. Like, that first test I failed, and I asked them if they would help me study and if they would be okay if we wrote cases,
Mm-hmm.
because that's how the tests are presented to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little afraid of asking them that because it felt like a big ask. I mean, the lectures that we go through are huge,
Mm-hmm.
but they both were really down, and I walked out of that with one of my best scores I've ever had at the next test. So,
That's awesome.
um, the support's really needed for sure.
Mhm. And with having that support, you know, essentially you are making those connections and those are going to be the future veterinarians as well. So I know we kind of talked about a little bit of like making those connections will also help you further like in your career, because let's say you have a case and um you actually don't know what to do, because there are a lot of cases that, especially like in emergency, which I mean, we're going to talk about what you're kind of focusing on more. But in emergency, there's sometimes where we have no idea what's wrong with this animal. Like this, we've tried different medications, different routes, and it's not working. Um, and it's nice to have those connections that they can help you be like, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And I feel like that is something that more of the newer students that are coming into becoming a doctor are doing better about having those connections and being able to ask for help. I think that's really great because of the fact that there's a lot of older veterinarians that a little bit of their ego, don't say that. They don't want to ask for help and they're like, this, I'm right, and that's it. So I honestly I like the new students that are coming out because they're a lot better at supporting each other and being able to like ask for help and be like, I have no idea what's wrong with this animal. I need help. And
Yeah, I mean, we all have a little bit of ego. It's just the type A personality.
yeah, but I think it's
But
awesome too the fact that like it's getting better. I mean, it's a little bit at a time, but I mean, it's something rather than nothing, but being able to we're focusing on the animal's health. It's not all
yeah,
about like how we feel, if we feel stupid or whatever the case is. It's we're trying to help this animal and we're coming back to what the main focus of the veterinary field is again, which is the
yeah,
animals as well as the owners, but our main concern is making sure that these animals are healthy, safe, as well as we're able to heal them from, diseases and stuff like that.
yeah. And like, if we don't care, then like, who is?
Mhm.
Like, there's just some situations where that's all that animal has at its defense is our care.
Yeah.
So
Um, so for school, does your school offer any resources for mental health, well-being?
yeah, actually, at the end of every single presentation at our school, they are required to put up a slide that gives us student support, mental health support. It gives you, so what's really cool about my school is we are a private university, but we have a lot of human medicine there,
Mhm.
different programs.
Mhm.
So they have on campus a clinic for therapy that you can go to.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm pretty sure everything's discounted. I don't utilize it enough, probably, but yeah. And then they have like student groups too that are there to help support. And our school does a lot of stuff for us. We have like free food all the time.
That's awesome.
Um, so
That's good. I'm glad, especially in the for vet students, that they have a lot of resources for you guys, especially with the rate of veterinary students just not doing great. How do you balance your academic responsibilities with personal life and self care? I know this is a struggle.
yeah, this is like probably my biggest struggle in vet school.
Hmm.
Um, I think I wrongfully, and I'll admit this, wrongfully prioritized school, then self care, and then doing things in my personal life.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think that's how you should approach it. I think you should approach it self care first. Take care of yourself.
Hmm.
You're a human being, and that should be priority number one.
Hmm.
But I do think school has to be quite up there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just you're gonna be there 8 to 5, 5 days a week, and then likely studying on the weekends.
Hmm.
Again, leave a day for yourself. Like that's the self care part.
Hmm.
So, and then your personal life. If you're going to vet school, I'm sorry, there's a little bit of trade off there. Like I know there's people who will argue otherwise. And maybe those people have photographic memories. That's I mean, there's some people at my school that are like that. They go on vacations in the middle of school and come back and ace an exam. That's just not how I work.
Mhm.
So, it's probably more of a personal question, but um yeah, I it's a hard struggle, but personal life kind of tell your friends like you're in med school basically. So,
Yeah, I really think that it's really hard. Like, even like I'm going to school to be a technician, it is really hard to have that healthy work life balance, especially if like if you weren't taught how to balance life, and it can be very difficult.
yeah.
And with being a student and having that like your main thing, within the last year it's been more important of, yeah, I'm a student, I'm a worker, whatever the case is, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people forget that even doctors are human beings, and sometimes you can't handle everything all at once, which is crazy cuz like I within the last few years of like talking to doctors and stuff like that, I've realized how a lot of people forget that they're human,
Oh yeah.
and it's like they know everything, like they have their life together, but in reality they're having the same struggles I am. They're having dating issues, they're having, like, it's crazy how like we forget that doctors really are the same as us. Yeah, they might have gone to school longer than us, but it's unfortunate. But I think with that's kind of like a two-way street of doctors as well, needs to kind of be like, hey, I'm a human and I just need to take a second and just like pause because I'm so overwhelmed.
I agree. I also like as an employee at a vet clinic, I feel like I did not participate in work stuff because I didn't want to spend my personal time at work.
Mhm.
But now that I'm in a position that's where people are going to be expecting a certain level of attention and care and
Mhm.
effort into the clinic,
Mhm.
that I do think those things as a veterinarian are really important to go to because your team should see you there as a normal person
Mhm.
and be able to have that experience with you, and it also just makes it better for the workplace
Mhm.
because like your technicians do a lot for you. So like, they're mothers, they're all they're grown ass adults, excuse my language. Um so, like we can all appreciate that about each other.
And yes, she say mothers because literally the vet field is like majority of women,
Oh yeah,
but
fathers
fathers as
too.
well.
Sorry.
But
Sorry.
yes, the vet field is majority of women. um, So, long term perspectives, how do you envision your career after vet school and how does it influence your current studies? What's your goal after school? Where are you
So,
heading?
you know, this is not definite. I have kind of a goal and I bounce back and forth just because of the sacrifices that each option brings. So
Mhm.
I'll kind of explain what that means and stuff. But
Mhm.
um, I am currently going to school to be a veterinary pathologist. So this means that I am going to graduate school, do a small animal rotating internship, um, and then apply for residency to get to be further educated in order to test for the board certification to be a pathologist.
Mhm.
Um, but however, the reason why I really do think that the small animal rotating internship will be important is because I don't know if I can fully give up the per se medicine side of things. That's just been the major aspect of veterinary field in my life.
Mhm.
I do community medicine, which I really love, and so
What is
I want to get
community
more experience.
what is
Huh?
community medicine?
Community medicine is medicine that is geared towards people who have financial disparities
Mhm.
or people who are experiencing homelessness.
Okay.
I am the president of VetCore, which is a club that goes out to Phoenix and we vaccinate pets for homeless people.
Mhm.
Um, and so the reason why I really love it is because it gives the right level of care to these people so that they can move into homes.
Mhm.
There's kind of an opinion out there that people who are homeless should not have pets. And I think if you sit down and actually talk to the people who own the pets who are experiencing homelessness,
Mhm.
they are treating that pet 10 times better than they treat themselves.
Yeah.
So they love those animals. It's everything to them. I think it would be kind of cruel to take away their maybe only thing that is keeping them here because
Mhm.
not a lot of them have family who are willing to help them.
Yeah.
And so I think if we can help move them into homes, then I think that's a better outcome in
Mhm.
general for them.
Definitely. Um, sorry, I was just kind of like trying to figure out like explaining the whole community vet med. So, with you going out and doing the vaccination, I know vaccinations and stuff like that. Have you is there one experience from doing that that really kind of affected you and makes you continue doing the community vet med?
Yeah, there was so I had just started off as an officer, and I think it was our first head coordinating event that me and my friend did together, and they came with a bunch of puppies,
Mhm.
and they were all these cute little like golden retriever puppies, very
Mhm.
adorable,
No.
and we told them we vaccinated all of them, and then told them to come back in the next event because we could booster their vaccines and then also administer them rabies.
Mhm.
So we were kind of nervous that they weren't going to show up, but they did, and they were so appreciative.
No.
And they got to adopt out all of these pets to
Oh.
people who wanted them and have them fully vaccinated.
Mhm.
That's a huge, huge accomplishment to make sure that these all these puppies survive
Mhm.
because they're in kind of a cesspool of disease,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So it's
Mhm.
really important that those animals get vaccinated.
Oh, that's so cute. You're gonna make me cry. So
We still have pictures
continue
of them.
continuing on, you're doing, the pathology club and stuff like that. Go ahead and continue what your envision is.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Um, I'll get sidetracked. I I really do love pathology. It's really interesting to me to be able to actually see what the disease processes do, and also like put together sort of a puzzle piece.
Mhm.
And ultimately, what it offers is an answer to people, and that's all they're really looking for in these animals that
Mhm.
they submit to pathology centers.
Mhm.
Um, and it's nice that we can at least provide a reason to why that animal might have died.
Mhm.
Um, it also is a huge avenue for conservation research.
Mhm.
I strongly believe in conservation efforts, and I do believe as a veterinarian, it is our role to be a part of that and to at least advocate for animals.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of the reason why I can't really let go of pathology quite yet,
Mhm.
because recent events in life make it clear to me that that's what's really needed right now. So we'll see. I'm doing conservation research right now, and it's really fun.
That's awesome. Do you plan? I know right now you're trying to figure out like where you want to be when it comes to pathology and like doing the general medicine and stuff like that. How big of a difference do you think that being in that field compared to being in like general medicine? how much do you think it really affects, like, either way?
Like, uh, like overall impact
Yeah.
in terms of.
Mhm.
I think they impact in different ways, not necessarily like one more than the other.
Mhm.
Because like you can do, I mean, honestly, you can be anywhere, and if you're providing good care to animals, you are doing a great impact in the world.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's where you want to gear and what's personal to you is what's important. So if you really find, like my friend Diamond, she is going to go work at her previous vet clinic
Mhm.
um, in a city that doesn't have any other vet clinics.
Oh, wow.
And she's actually going to be taking ownership once she gets trained of the clinic,
Mhm.
and she's going to be providing care to low income families.
Oh my god, that's
And
awesome.
so that just speaks really personal to her. She grew up in that town.
Mhm.
You know, she experienced the same thing that they went through, and now she wants to pay that back to people.
No.
So, you know, like through everyone's story, it's you can tell that like no matter what, being a veterinarian means that you are providing some sort of service.
Mhm. What changes are you wanting to see in vet education, vet med?
Um, you know, that's such a tough question.
I know. Well, okay, let's, like, think about it this way. What changes do you wanna make in vet med?
I think as a veterinarian, my role is to set the tone for the clinic.
Mhm.
And I really believe in that. I think anybody who has holds any sort of position of power per se, and I only say that because veterinarians are usually considered a leadership role,
Mhm.
um, has influence on how your technicians are going to treat each other, how they're going to treat you, how they're going to treat the people who are walking in your door every single day as customers.
Mhm.
So I think it's really important that you too are setting an example. You know, utilize your technicians as much as possible. They have been trained to do these things. Let them do those things so you can go see more animals
Mhm.
and increase your impact on people. And then be kind to everybody. Like, I just think that's really important. You know, I really only see us all as humans
Mhm.
with the same goal of helping animals.
Mhm. And I know in, like, the future, like, whenever we're a lot older, are you eventually wanting to, like, educate people in either, doing, like, CEs, stuff like that, or, like, teaching in other vet, colleges? Are you wanting to kinda do some type of education with that in the future?
I've always said my retirement plan is to go do academia. And I just think that's because I get to do some research, and I think that's cool.
Mhm.
And just, I think the environment for academia is really nice because you get a lot of networking. It's
Mhm.
probably like it's a very unique experience, and I've been in it as much as everybody else has their whole life, so it's
Mhm.
kind of hard not to
Yeah,
go back to it. I think sometimes.
true. The amount of times I've left this field and come back.
Yeah,
So many
it's
times.
got you roped in.
It did. Yeah, I'm still here. Um, and then lastly, how do you want how do I phrase this question? I guess in a way, how is it that you hope in the future that vet med being a community and technicians, doctors and stuff, how is it that you kind of want the change for our community, as much as it's like it can be very toxic and everything? What do you think is like the key factor in improving that?
I don't know if it's necessarily like a key factor, but I do think like we need to be nicer to one another. acknowledge that everybody's there for the same reason,
Mhm.
and um, set aside your ego. We're
Mhm.
all here to learn, and everybody here has the same goal. So let's try to accomplish that together.
Mhm.
And sometimes people don't fit in your team, and that's okay. You can have that conversation with them and try to let them know, hey, like, I don't think this is the right fit for you. Because not necessarily every single time is going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think being kind is the key, I guess, to
Yeah.
each other. And I also just think, like, remember why we're all here.
Yeah, I feel like that's especially for people that have been in this field for like years, sometimes decades. Like I give them a lot of props because the vet field changes so drastically all the time. New techniques, new things are always coming out, and I feel like a lot of the time we just kind of forget like why we're even in this field, and it's always nice to come back of like what pushed you to be here in the first place.
Right.
um I feel like a lot of people like actually like have to go back in time and be like, you know what, I'm here because of this, I'm not here because I have to be here. And I feel like a lot of people, it's just like, it comes from like the burnout, the compassion fatigue, and you know not realizing that that's what you're going through, because that's kind of what I've literally experienced like recently, that I do have compassion fatigue. It's very hard for me to put my just being so numb for so long and just being like, you know what, this is why I'm still here and this is why I'm still going back to school and continuing my education. And I think honestly, everything you're doing is amazing. The fact that, from where you've come from and to how passionate you are with, the community and helping people, I think that's amazing. And you're honestly going to be a great doctor.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I really hope so.
I know you will be. If not, I'm going to be right behind you.
You'll see me crying on the phone a lot.
We are always calling each other, crying about, work and how much we struggle. But I think the most important is at least having that one person, whether that be your parents, your friends, or anything like that, of just having that support system and being able to talk about, the rough conversations, and being able to move past it and learn from it and become a better person. And I think we're doing pretty good from where we're at.
I think so too. I think we're gonna succeed.
We have no choice. We have to push each other to
We
succeed.
don't have any choices anymore. It's too
Well,
late.
thank you for being my first guest of my podcast, and we most likely will be having more episodes together. But thank you for listening to Julie's Unleashed, Unfiltered, and Unapologetically Human. Bye, guys.
Bye.